Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order of the Villa Park Environmental Concerns Commission. It is February 27th, 2025. It's 7:01 p.m. And I'm going to call the roll. Commissioner Leishman.
Present.
Commissioner Greco.
Present.
Commissioner Smith.
Present.
Commissioner Amore.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Figueroa.
Present.
And I am Commissioner Wagner, and we have established that we have a quorum. And we have, of course, our de facto staff liaison, Vasily Voskresensky.
Wow, perfect.
Okay. And then we have two visitors with us. We have Eugene May, and you're a village resident,
Lifelong.
lifelong village resident. And I apologize, I don't remember your name.
Molly Cars, also a resident.
Okay, and that's K-A-R-C-Z,
Karcz.
okay.
Are you related to Dolores Carnes?
Well, thank you both for being
There is.
present here this evening. So we've established a quorum. Gonna move on to item 2, public comments on agenda items. Are there any public comments on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna move on to amendments to the agenda. And Commissioner Hill reached out to me regarding the issue of no mow May, and she asked that I put it on the agenda, and I was not able to do it in time. So I would entertain a motion to amend the agenda to include no mow May as an agenda item. That would be item I. Commissioner Leishman?
I so move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Amore seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? Okay, we're gonna add that item to the agenda. I'm just gonna ask, is there any public comment, even though that's later in the agenda, is there any public comment on non-agenda items?
I'm not sure where this comes in. This is my second meeting and I came just to see what's going on with the committee. I'm not sure when to talk up, like we mentioned before, recycling at Summerfest or things like that. So is this the group that you would come to start working on things like that?
Yes.
Like if that was your interest or things
Yeah.
like it, this is
We've
where you
talked
would
about-
start.
We've talked about how to improve recycling at public events quite a bit, yeah. We make little progress and, yeah, then we make a step back and, yeah, so yes.
Okay, so if those are the types of things that I'm interested in Villa Park, this is where I would come and say, how would we go about this, or what
Yeah.
about this?
The reason I mentioned that is, we could do an additional amendment to the agenda if you had a public comment. If you don't wanna wait for us to go through the whole agenda, we could move item 6 up in the agenda if you wanted to speak now.
That's okay.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 4, the consent agenda. Approval of the meeting minutes from January 23rd, 2025. Is there a motion to accept the meeting minutes from January 23rd, 2025?
Commissioner Smith motions to accept the
Okay,
minutes.
Commissioner Smith made the motion, is there a second?
Commissioner Greco.
Commissioner Greco should have seconded. Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of approving the meeting minutes from January 23rd, 2025, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting minutes are approved. Okay, we're gonna move on to our business portion of the meeting. First one is item 5A, report of the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee. Commissioner Leishman.
Thank you, Chairman Wagner. We had a bit of a shorter meeting tonight, hence why this meeting was actually able to get started at 7 p.m. First thing that we talked about tonight was Project Sidewalk. So this might have already been announced at the last ECC meeting, but we did receive grant funds from ATA to host a mapathon in town here. So we're moving forward with that. Currently, we are going to try to plan an April mapathon, as long as we can get our act together and also, see some interest from students at Willowbrook, hopefully. Then we spoke about our 2025 goals a bit. Generally, we're kind of interested in improving wayfinding signage around town, as well as using the Project Sidewalk data to maybe highlight an intersection that we think is especially dangerous for pedestrians, so that we can request allocation in the 2026 budget. That's another one of our goals. And that was the meat and potatoes of the agenda tonight. We spoke a bit about the quality of the metro station as well, and some of the unfortunate pedestrian collisions that have occurred on rail lines in the suburbs of late. That's basically what we discussed tonight.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Commissioner Leishman? Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to move on to item 5B, the Green Champion Award. And as I mentioned before, the Green Champion Award is featured prominently in the current edition of Village Matters. I have reached out to Riley, and she's going to, starting next week, she's going to step up social media posts, email about, and she'll kind of feature the Green Champion Award. I did send a press release out to the Villa Park Review so that they would run a little article about the Green Champion Award. I reached out to Kyle Schnutler, who is the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce, and I sent him pretty much the same press release I sent to the Villa Park Review, and he indicated that he would get it out to the business community to see if there was anyone that they would like to nominate. So the deadline that I put in the press release is March 22nd, of course, next month. So I would just enlist everyone's help, Commissioner Hill.
So Ellen and I have been talking to a gentleman, Dave Gorman, and so I'm hoping she'll be here so we can present him as a nominee.
Did you say Dave Gorman?
Dave Gorman, is it Dave Gorman? The guy, he lives in Ovaltine. He's on the,
Oh, Dave Gorman. Dave Gorman is a rock star.
okay, who is it, whom, I'm sorry.
He's the Assistant Public Works Director.
Yes,
He just stepped down as the president of the DuPage River Salt Creek Work Group. I think he was president for 13 years. He's on the board of Working Bikes.
yes, and that's one of the focuses of our nomination is his work with the bikes. So Ellen has worked on.
He's a resident. That's a tremendous person to nominate. That would be. Mm-hmm. He does so much more than I'm even describing. So
Yes.
yeah, Commissioner Leishman.
Point of clarity, we're not discussing
No, I'm
nominations
sorry. Yeah, I
tonight, right?
apologize. Yeah, we're not discussing it. So this is someone you're thinking of.
Yes.
Yeah. we haven't received any nominees. You're right, it's not appropriate to talk about nominees since we haven't received them yet, so,
Okay,
yeah. So,
we were trying to be proactive.
yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh, no, I mean, you can definitely formulate your plan and be writing your,
Yes,
you know, planning your nomination, yeah.
exactly.
Just don't talk about it.
Well, Ellen is hoping to present it tonight, so.
Oh.
So there you go. So it's just one candidate.
So there is an anonymous person out there who lives in Villa Park that
Yes,
could be, okay,
it does a whole heck of a lot.
yeah. And I will just mention that we have nominated and selected more than one person
Right.
for the Green Champion Award in the past. And we started doing this back in 2016. So that's all I have on, the other thought that I had is some, I'm gonna call them houses of worship. Some churches have green teams. And I was thinking, if you know any church that has a green team or has a special environmental ministry, you know, there might be somebody out there we don't know about, you know, that would be someone we wanna feature, cause, you know, bringing these people forward kind of inspires other people, so.
This is
Commissioner
Commissioner
Smith.
Smith. Are there categories for
Yes,
Green Champion
yeah.
It's on the, should be on the website.
on the
right?
website?
I'll resend the whole, it's on our webpage.
I'll look on our book.
Okay,
But there are categories, but there is only one Green Champion Award given every year.
well,
it's-
no, that's
Well-
what, yeah,
It's not like there's not one award given to every category.
no, right, correct.
The categories just list like potential things that people could be nominated for.
Okay, yeah, two.
Yeah.
And then you pick from that, you pick the Green Champion.
And what were the two that we had one year that we had two? Who, was it the legislator and then somebody
We
else?
gave one to, then State Representative Deb Conroy,
Okay,
and I can't remember the other one I gave out.
yeah, cause we had choices.
It could have been Salt Creek Sanitary District,
Okay.
so. Okay, any other questions? Okay. All right, I'm gonna move on to item 5C, update on the Villa Park Crocus site. And I'm gonna ask Commissioner Hill if she has any new information about the Crocus site.
It was delayed from the week of the 24th, I believe, because of the cold. And they will attempt to install it on the week of March 10th. So the only day I asked them to avoid, day of the week that I asked them to avoid was Tuesday, because I would like to be there, and Tuesdays are very busy for me. So hopefully sometime that week, they will come out and install, and I'm trying to keep Mike Guerrera in the loop so that maybe somebody from Public Works could come and witness, and so that would be nice, get some information firsthand. So, yeah, she's been very good, this is Suzanne, she's been very good about corresponding, so it's good. So that's my update.
And, go ahead.
Can you talk about the equipment, this thing?
It's basically on a tripod, and it kind of looks like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a very tall tripod. It won't be mounted on the roof, it'll be weighted down. And it does need power, and it just collects weather data. So, and it's gonna be on the northwest corner of the roof, the tallest section with, there's no, what do you call that?
Parallel.
Yeah, there's nothing preventing,
Impediment, yeah, no.
impediment to the weather data coming in or whatever, so yeah, it's pretty exciting, and we'll see how it goes.
And just to Commissioner Wagner, so this, if you go to the Argonne Labs, they have a whole page on Crocus.
Right. Not really my focus right now, but I know Sandra, so I just thought I'd ask how is it, did they talk about how it's collected and where it goes?
It's, the weather information is you can access it off their website.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Wow.
And I know Mike Herrera was very excited about getting that real-time weather data.
Heather?
It's so, because what the closest weather that you guys get is O'Hare, right? I think that's what he said.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything locally yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now, is there, Commissioner Moore, is there a monitor within the confines of the library so that the library patrons can see what is being read up above?
that I've yet to determine. I mean, it'd be nice to do, I was gonna talk to her about doing some promotion and to, steer people to this, have information on the Facebook, Instagram, website, so people can then follow that and click through to get the data, and then try to do some educational
Right.
type things for the kids and
Yeah.
adults. So, yeah, it's yet to be determined. Just get the thing in.
Just to follow up, is there like a sample installation nearby or in DuPage County that we can look at the information?
Not good,
No,
not
I
a
think
big
the closest location is in Humboldt Park.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
not too
they're-
bad. That's not
Yeah,
too
part
bad.
of the issue is that most of these crocus sites are in the city, and they wanna kind of branch out into the metropolitan area so that they get a good sample. So,
You should try to get Tom Skilling for the ribbon cutting.
There you go.
I hear he can be somewhat enthusiastic about stuff like that.
Yes.
And he draws people.
Yes.
Yeah.
you know,
That's fun.
what we could do
Yeah.
is, once the site's up and running, we could maybe invite someone from Argonne to come and talk to the,
Yes.
to the commission,
Be nice to get the cable commission up to take some
the Video Production Commission.
video production commission. So,
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
so to get in touch with Tom Skilling, is there like a website?
He's got a Facebook page.
You go
yeah.
through like his agent or?
Not really.
No.
Actually, from what I've heard, you just go through, just message him on Facebook and he'll answer.
Yeah, send him a weather balloon.
Naperville, that's not far away. Can you open that?
Okay, anything further on that?
no, I'll keep you all posted.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5D, preparing for the 2025 spring sweep.
We don't want to hit the candidate.
And Commissioner Morey and I were at the planning meeting. Suzanne McVeigh was there. Deputy Public Works Director Salerno was there. And Riley Pilar was there. And we kind of started doing our initial planning. Of course, I brought up the concerns and the issues that you and Commissioner Draconis had put together. And we have a meeting coming up again in February. We did talk about getting yard signs.
March.
In March, excuse me, yeah, March.
I'll check it.
Salt Creek Sanitary District has agreed to let us put a banner up there. We're gonna get some new banners. We are, of course, getting confirmations from groups that, pretty much all the groups that participated last year, with the exception, we're gonna have, I always get this mixed up, E-Paint, which is in Wooddale, who I think is actually moving their location, but they're still gonna be in DuPage County. I've included the community focus on Unifying Neighbors Commission, but they have not attended. There have been some of the leadership in that commission left. There were 3 commissioners that left. So I'm communicating with Mary Hinsey. Yeah, so she's the acting chair. So we will have another meeting coming up in March. Commissioner Morey.
It's March 6th at 10 a.m.
Right. Here at Village Hall.
Yes.
So, Thursday, okay. 10 a.m.
Okay, and then the crucial issue is as we get closer, is getting enough volunteers. And of course, Willowbrook students were kind of featured prominently in our volunteer objectives. So we're gonna lean on you as we get closer to see if we can get some students for a better environment, key club members, et cetera, so.
May.
Okay, any questions on spring sweep?
A little
Commissioner.
background, I don't know what that is.
Okay, spring sweep is a recycling extravaganza, that's how I would describe it. Takes place along Home Avenue here, and we have multiple vendors. At the very end, there's electronics recycling, paper shredding, but we have working bikes, there's paint recycling,
Wonderful.
there's a whole, and we've been doing this for multiple years, and we partner with the Community Focus on Unifying Neighbors Commission.
Wonderful. You said it's as early as March 6th?
No, that's a planning meeting.
No, it's May 17th.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's typically the third Saturday of the month in May.
And volunteers work 8 to 12.
Yeah, 8 to 12, 8:30 to 12. And we typically have 400 cars go through. I think that's a realistic, and sometimes people come through multiple times, but high 300s to 400 cars.
Yeah, that's a ballpark of the volume.
Yeah,
It's definitely a good,
It's pretty well, I mean, at the peak, we've got cars lined up all the way to Harvard. Yeah.
but it is continuous. It is a continuous stream of cars the
Right.
entire time. Yeah.
Okay, any questions on spring sweep?
Did you say that we were gonna do yard signs saying
So I
streets?
mentioned that to Suzanne, and she said that they could help us, and I think I'm correct in saying that they could provide us assistance funding for yard signs?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
Something-
think Riley was gonna look into creating signs, but that we didn't have a budget or an amount of signs. And did you, correct me, this is Commissioner Maury, so did we ever get the totals from last year's? I know that all the data wasn't in yet at the first planning meeting, did those?
I have a report with all the totals that I could get.
Yeah,
I never got anything from Earth Paint. I can send it out. Yeah,
'cause I know there was still some you were waiting for, so I didn't know if they had followed up.
yeah. There were a couple groups I never heard from, so.
How old is the event?
Pardon me?
How old is the
Yeah,
event?
how many years have we been doing it?
I sent that in an email.
I think it's been 5 or 6 years now.
Yeah,
Oh, 2019 maybe.
There we go, yeah, 2019.
yeah. It's free to village residents, and then there's a charge for people from other communities that they pay at the entrance. It's nominal charge, it's like $20.
But not everyone pays the 20, right? Like it's only for the shredding, or does everyone pay the 20 no matter what? they're doing?
Electronic recycling and the shredding.
And shredding.
Okay, but if they're dropping off, well, paint charges separately.
Right.
The paint, the company that recycles the paint charges, but you pay them separately, and everybody pays that. But some of the other stuff, like the flag collection and the batteries, those are no charge whether you're a resident or not. Yeah.
Do you guys have a flyer or something that we could email out to all of our neighbors?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Would you guys have a flyer or something about it that we'd email out to all our neighbors?
That'll be created, right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be on the village's public-facing website, they'll
Oh.
have banners of.
And we can just take it off there and send it to our friends and.
Probably, yes.
And-
Yeah, there will be information, yeah.
Okay, anything further on that? Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5E. Our 2025 goal setting reports. And If any of the groups want to report?
I just had one statement, circling back to 5D. We are discussing the 2025 spring sweep. That's 26, but
Oh, that's yeah, I apologize, that's my typo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
We're
want,
doing a lot of very advanced planning.
very advanced. Do you want a volunteer name now, or are you gonna do that later, take names for volunteers?
We could put your name in the minutes.
at 8:01
there'll
on
be a-
Saturday, May
Right.
17th, someone will be
Knocking
banging on your door. Let's go.
You're on the list.
I have your email.
Yeah. Okay, good.
There'll be a sign up process later.
Great.
Okay, so I'm gonna go, I would kind of apologize to Ivan that our group has not made a lot of progress. And I don't wanna make excuses, but I've had some personal issues that I've been dealing with. And which I'll kind of talk about when we go to chairman's comments. So, we haven't done a lot, but Ivan, you mentioned last time that there was something happening at Willowbrook with the Students for a Better Environment?
No, I don't think so.
You mentioned that you had started some sort of social media.
Yeah, last meeting we talked about how this is Commissioner Figueroa. We talked about how we finally opened an official Instagram page. So, when it comes to promoting events here for the Villa Park Environmental Concerns Committee and also Willowbrook itself, we can send back and forth to each other flyers and stuff that we can post on the account. So, yeah.
Okay. Education, anything you wanna?
I'll claim personal issues too.
What?
I said I'll claim personal issues too.
Okay,
Well, we did get a good start previous, but we had to delay our meeting that we had planned Saturday. But we'll be getting together probably within the next week to.
Yeah,
to
we can
move
make that happen.
Yeah, to move
Yeah.
forward
But I mean, I
on
think
the progress we've made so far.
we had wanted to do like our first discussion or talk in
Mhm.
March or April.
We're like April.
I'm in the wrong. I got too many tabs open. Here we go. Yeah, we were thinking March and April for sustainable landscaping. So obviously it will be at April at this point. So yeah, when we get together, we'll talk about it and assign tasks. But of course, April's going to be busy because the project, the sidewalk mapping is going to happen in April. But that's all right. We can make it work.
and I apologize, I was gonna send you the link to the person who put together the movie, the short movie for the
Oh
Forest
yeah,
Reserve District. I'll get that to you.
yeah, that would help. I mean, all the
Yeah.
information we can, people we can tap to help us with this. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, and advocacy.
So I was
Oh, right.
I was basically out of commission in January, but I don't know if was any meetings had in my stead.
No.
Okay, that's fine. So I mean, I have in front of us the draft of goals that we did come up with in our meeting at the library. So I don't remember when that meeting was. Was that before or after the November meeting? Has it been discussed here?
It has not been discussed here. 'Cause
Okay.
I think you had family issues and we just
Yeah.
kind of tabled it at the
Sure.
time, so.
So we did. Yeah, so like we kind of back in late 2024, we kind of recognized that like our committee does kind of three different things. There's outreach, education, and advocacy. And so we divided up into like subcommittees for each one of those topics. And so on the advocacy side, the three goals that we kind of came up with were, and sorry, when I say advocacy, I mean advocating to the Board of Trustees, because, you know, we as a subcommittee do not have the budget nor authority to really make large-scale changes in the community, but we can suggest those things to the Board of Trustees, who do have the authority to make those changes. So by advocacy, I mean making recommendations to the Board of Trustees, basically. So our first goal, Molly, you kind of hinted at earlier without realizing it, was advocating for public events to produce less waste. And so the subtopics of that were, step one, evaluating the waste produced by village organized events, such as Summerfest, Spring Sweep, etc. And then draft and adopt a recommendation about how the village can reduce this waste in 2026. And then once that recommendation is adopted, we'll of course share it with the Board of Trustees and add something to the 2026 budget if need be. Then the second advocacy goal that we came up with was monitoring natural water quality around the village. So surveying bodies of water like Twin Lakes, Lufkin, Sugar Creek for salinity as well as dissolved oxygen and stuff like that. And so that we can keep an eye on the quality of these bodies of water, and if there are issues that we observe, then we can make recommendations to the Board of Trustees concerning those. And then finally, the last advocacy goal that we had was actually more bike pedestrian transit oriented, which makes sense because that is a subcommittee of the Environmental Concerns Commission. And that is advocating for pedestrian crossing capital improvement to be included in the 2026 budget. So basically trying to do a comprehensive study of our town, find a pedestrian crossing that we think is especially dangerous, and requesting that changes be made to that intersection, and that will require some money, and so that request will have to be made in the 2026 budget cycle. So basically going through that budgeting process was the goal. So yeah, those are the three things that we came up with what feels like a century ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it holds up.
Yeah.
Of course, we haven't adopted it as a commission yet, but those were the draft goals that we came up with on our
Okay.
side.
All right, well, I don't feel so bad now, sorry. So I guess we'll just revisit this at our next meeting and
Well, here's a question I have. When do we take action on all of these goals, or are there certain things that we could go ahead and say, for instance, the advocacy for the waste at events, is that something that we can adopt separately and develop a document and a recommendation to the village board? Because what's coming up, events, we're gonna start entering that season. And it's one of those things that we know there's certain things that we could recommend. So that's a question I have. I don't know the best way to proceed.
I mean, I don't see any reason why we as a commission have to adopt all of the goals at once.
Right.
If there is one that we are comfortable with, like, I think we can probably, adopt that and start heading down that path.
Could you, if you haven't adopted these but decided you wanted to focus on waste at public events, could you start working on recycling stuff before you actually make a presentation to the board, or you have to present to the board before you do anything with an event?
So, really the reason why we have to go to the board is if we you know, say that we as a commission feel that we want to recommend that, you know, Summerfest should be a zero waste event or something like that.
That's a tough one, but good idea.
Yeah, that's ambitious.
Yeah.
That requires money.
Right.
And anything that requires money requires the Board of Trustees to sign off on it. And so that's why we have to go through the Board of Trustees is because we fundamentally as an organization are just here to make recommendations to them. We are not, we're not supposed to be foot soldiers.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you decided to do something like get volunteers to work on recycling at the event, it doesn't even have to go to the board because you're just working on it there? Or if an outside group came in, would they come to you or would they go to the village, like a Go Green or whatever? How does that work?
So I will tell you that the Kiwanis events, Kiwanis concerts,
Mm-hmm.
I've been known to bring a recycling bin from home, carry one.
And collect
put it
as you
out.
go, yeah.
Could always use help because, you know, not everybody knows what goes in recycling and it's amazing
Right.
sometimes. But, you know,
Because at the two parks, there are no recycling bins, correct?
right.
And this town doesn't have recycling bins that they can bring to events?
That's a board and staff decision, so that's dollars.
Right,
Which
so
is
that's
why-
something you'd have to go into them and ask for money.
Yeah.
Well, this is Commissioner Wagner, and I'm gonna ask everyone to speak up a little bit, so that picks it up and I pick it up. So at various events, there have been LRS,
Some of them, yes.
totes, roll-off totes, and they,
Summerfest.
and they, yeah, Summer Festival, and they, recycling, but the problem is getting the public to identify that is a recycling container.
Right.
Because it gets contaminated with all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we make efforts, but there's, yeah.
Well, I think one of the things we talked about, and it all comes down to people, is have volunteers that literally just stand by the recycle bin the whole time and guide people to the right containers. I think it's going to take a few events with that happening for the public to get the message. Maybe even have flyers to hand out or something, but I think that's what it's going to take to really get the public to properly use the different containers.
May I? What about some temporary signage maybe?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say that.
No?
No,
It's better than not.
I agree. Like I think, we're in the 21st century now. Like I think most people are familiar with recycling bins. So like as long as they're labeled properly, like you're saying, like I think I don't know that we need to have people supervising. And like sure, it's not going to be perfect. There are people that are going to use the recycle bins as trash cans and vice versa. But I don't really see that as a barrier to this because, frankly, that's a problem we're paying LRS to solve already. Like, they have to do sorting at their facility either way. You can't tell me that every home in town sorts their recycling properly.
Yeah, good point.
And so, like,
This is
perfection is not, we shouldn't be shooting for perfection, is my
This is
point.
Commissioner Smith, and like this is Commissioner Smith, and Whole Foods also has, anyone who shops there regularly just automatically know to sort. Because they've had that for over a decade now. It's been a really long time.
Did LRS, that's what our garbage place is called, LRS?
Yes, yeah, that, our
Did they
contract.
bring extra bins for events? Or people brought their roller bins from their homes?
No, LRS for Summer Festival, they provided them.
Oh, they
They're
did?
temporary, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. And then I guess my question is if, because I don't know enough about it, if someone puts their pizza in there, does LRS go, well, this is a spoiled bunch and throw it, or does it go to recycle?
They're supposed to sort at their facility.
So they would actually take the pizza out.
That's not something we have to worry about. Like the bins are there. that's available, and then like Alan was saying, at the facility, you're gonna have a percentage that
Right.
has the wrong in there, they just put it in the right spot.
Right.
So that, but that's not something we would have to
Yeah, things gets
manage.
put on the tipping floor at their
Yeah,
facilities, and then there is some sorting going on.
good question though, but.
Yeah.
We
Is
did tour, the members of the commission did tour LRS's facility, two of their facilities, I don't know how many years ago that was, 4 years ago? And then their state-of-the-art, I can't remember what town that's in, but they had a state-of-the-art sorting facility. But we couldn't take photographs because it was too.
Proprietary.
I'm serious, they didn't want to take photographs. So.
So if you did this event and you didn't want them to, for example, use plastic water bottles, how would you go about that?
So, like, we are an advisory board to the Board of Trustees. The Board of Trustees, even though they are not planning the minutia of Summerfest or anything, their word is the law. So, like, if they make a decision and allocate the money for it, like, that is what changes what happens at those events.
Got it. So the money for that kind of thing, the water and all that, comes from the village?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure who funded that.
Yeah, Summerfest is a Parks and Rec initiative, I believe.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the money that you pay for your water bottle goes back to Parks and Rec?
Well, there are food vendors
Unless there's
that
a
pay to
Unless
have a
it's a
spot
vendor,
there.
yes.
If they're selling water, they're getting the profit for it.
Got it.
Could we tell them we don't want them to sell plastic water bottles? Yeah, I don't know, that would be, yeah.
I think there's a lot of profit in those plastic water bottles, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
It's also one of the most common things in the trash at any event.
Yeah.
You know, a container that just will take those
Right.
is a simple solution, but this is not the place to resolve that.
Right, yeah, we're kind of getting far afield.
Yeah, we're a few steps ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
But if that is, I guess what I was saying earlier is, like, if we want to adopt some of these goals, I don't think they all have to be done at once. And the sooner we formally adopt them as a commission, the sooner we can, like, start acting towards them.
This is Commissioner Smith. I like, I don't know who said it, but because we do have so many events coming up, if maybe that would be a good one to try to adopt if there's time, because there's not a lot of work required to do it. And we all could maybe chip in.
Are you moving to adopt the goal?
Oh, yes, I am. This is moving to adopt the goal.
Adopt the goal of reducing waste at public events.
Yes.
Advocating for public events to produce less waste.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Wagner. I think we all had goals, and maybe we got lost in the process. Do we need to formally adopt them? I mean, it's, yeah.
I don't know.
This
Yeah.
Commissioner Smith.
How do you move forward on taking action unless you adopt it, and
Yeah.
then you've got to develop a timeline? You got to, what are all these events that we're talking about? I mean, there's things that we have to act on to.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Smith for the Education Subcommittee. I don't believe we did that. We came up with, these are our suggestions, we talked about it, we put it on a timeline.
It's not been formally adopted. We've kind of been
Yes.
assuming that we would just make them happen, but
So if they are supposed to be formally adopted, we probably need to know for what we just stated, we're planning for April.
That's a good point. Let's,
Doesn't it,
I'm sorry, Commissioner Chaconis, did you have something?
doesn't it depend on the goal? If you're gonna have a program, you don't need a formal adoption, right? I mean, if you're going to the board, we have to.
Oh, because he's going to the board.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, we are not adopting a recommendation right now.
No,
Like, because I have not written it.
I'm just talking in the procedure.
Yeah.
If we want to sponsor an event at the library a movie, we have
We can do
to
that.
formally vote on
Okay.
that, or is that what you're asking? Is that what?
I guess, does the committee have to approve it, which I would think they would. But we would have brought it, like, for the April event, we would bring it to the March meeting and say,
Yes,
this is our
this is
plan.
it.
So this is Commissioner Wagner. I think if we're going to sponsor something or partner with the library and have an event, and you're gonna say it's the Environmental Concerns Commission event, then we need to formally endorse the idea of that, So, here's my thought. I thought we all made presentations about kind of in broad strokes what we were thinking of doing, the three groups. Why don't we kind of see if we can put together some, meetings, Ivan and I can get together, and we can kind of say, here are our goals officially for 2025. These are what we'd like the commission to adopt, so we can say, and then, Commissioner Leishman has brought up the SMART goals framework. We could say at the end of the year or January of next year, hey, we were able to achieve this, or we didn't achieve it, rather than to hash out again what we all talked about. Maybe we should have someone from each group formally say, these are our proposals for this year, and we can adopt them or at our meeting in March. How does that sound?
This is Commissioner Smith. I recall doing that I recall us doing that in January.
We
So-
kind of talked about what our specific goals were, but the idea that we didn't adopt them, I don't think we took a formal vote. We didn't say, these are our,
Okay,
Stated goals.
Yeah.
the final tally.
it's just the
of what
final
we're
list of what
planning
we're
to do.
going.
And that was the question that came up, was do we need to, or do we just
Yes.
move forward on our individual goals?
That was my question, the initial question.
Yeah.
So it seems like the answer is yes.
So let's revisit it.
Okay.
Let's revisit it in March.
Okay,
I don't think I'm prepared to, for us all to kind of rehash what we talked about, Commissioner Hill.
Do we have the ability to do a shared document so you guys can,
We already have a shared
We
document
have
for
that.
this
So it's
exact,
all
for this
set?
exact purpose.
okay, so it's
That's
already,
that's what
it's
I'm
all
re-
on
that's
there?
what I'm reading off of right
Okay,
now.
so, but there's goals are on there, so it's all shared.
Did we
At
put
least-
ours on there?
At least an early version is
Okay.
on here. Yeah.
So I'm just saying that if that could be sent with the agenda
Okay,
next month. So that.
Yeah.
all-
So these goals need to be finalized 48 hours before our meeting
Right,
okay.
next month. Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at.
And can you send us all a link to that?
Yep.
Okay, so we
Is it a
need a
Google
deadline
Doc or is it a?
of having
Okay.
something suitable to present to the.
I'm handling it for our team.
Groups have fleshed out more and
There's something about Google Doc, I just,
kinda the way.
What's that?
Yeah,
it's okay. I have technology issues some days.
yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
get it.
Like me, every day that I say why.
It's rough, but it wouldn't take much massage. I think.
Okay, so we're going to revisit this
Yes.
at our March meeting.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5F, lead service lines. And kind of exchanged a couple emails with Manager Harline, copied Director Guerra, and it's my understanding that Director Guerra is gonna make a presentation on lead service lines at the March 10th Committee of the Whole meeting. And Vasily, can you give us, because I've asked what's the content a couple times, what's the content, and I haven't gotten a response.
Yeah, so basically, we're looking for a direction from the board of, so the public portion of the water service from the main to the B box is when we cross or find the lead service, village pays 100%. So we're looking for a direction how we're gonna pay or what we're gonna cover for the private side, which is mandatory now, we have to replace it, but, I mean, are we paying 100%? Are we paying, there is some sort of a shared 50-50 or whatever. So board needs to come up with some direction, I guess, for us to follow. I'll give you an example. You probably know that the Jackson area project is about to start on the 3rd, actually. And so we identified 28 lead services on that project. The bids came in at roughly $10,000 per service, so it's almost $300,000 to do 28 services. So
Wow.
it's pretty expensive, so I'm not sure how it's gonna be paid for.
What are you replacing with?
Copper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it'll last forever.
Grant funding can help with some things.
It could be, yes, if something is available. I'm not sure.
So,
He's still working on the RFQ for
Yeah, I saw him.
helpful consultants, yeah.
so the committee of the whole is just a discussion. There's no action taken in the committee of the whole.
Yeah, there will be no action.
No
And
action taken, okay.
it is my understanding nothing is budgeted so far this year for lead service replacements on the private side.
Okay, well, I will be at that meeting, so. I mean, I gave Manager Harline our recommendations. So I'm hoping that he shared it with the board, but I may just send it directly to the board, so. Okay, and then the RFP that's going out is for,
To hire a consultant to help us with, I guess, the plan, how to move forward.
and there is some money through the state revolving fund, am I correct in saying that?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. I think there is. So, yeah, the state revolving fund, you can borrow from the state, but you have to identify a funding source. That's my understanding of, how it works, so.
And this is Commissioner, so there's timelines also for all of that. When is the RFQ or is it RFP?
I don't
I don't
know,
know.
but he's still working on it.
Still
So
working, okay.
I talked to him today and he said it's on his,
Yeah, in progress.
in progress kind of things to do.
Okay. Well, I trust that you relay back to him our interest and concern.
I will.
Okay, because I included him in those emails, but I didn't get a response, so. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5G. This is participation in Illinois Prairie Path and Great Western Trail cleanup, which is Saturday, April 26th. And I have been communicating with Mary, who is the acting chair for the Community Focused on Unifying Neighbors Commission, and I told her we would like to partner on this event, because it's gonna be like the first maybe public event or opportunity to table. I did go ahead, I took the liberty of kind of registering us, saying that we would be partnering with them. So typically, commissioners will be there to help with the event. It's a nice opportunity to, talk to other members of the public. Last year, we used it as an opportunity to promote Spring Sweep. And we're gonna talk about it later in the agenda, but we could also talk about no mow May, there are signs that we can distribute at the Prairie Path Great Western Cleanup. So I think I may have jumped the gun a little bit here, but I thought we kind of talked about it as we wanted to be involved in it, because we were involved in years past. It actually was our event, but somehow it was no longer our event. So I think it's a good opportunity, because there's new leadership in that commission, for us to partner with them. So I just wanted to put that on the agenda.
How many volunteers do you normally get for that one? Because I haven't been able to volunteer in the past.
Well, last year I was there, Commissioner Leishman was there.
Yeah.
It's
More hands would make lighter work.
It is, it's a very laissez-faire volunteer activity.
I'm sorry, did you say laissez-faire?
Yeah.
Okay.
So an exact head count would be hard for me to estimate.
Okay.
I would say ballpark 20 people.
Wow.
I believe there was like a waiver or something.
Right.
So
There's a
there
waiver.
might be a head count if everyone submitted the waiver.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, depends on the weather, depends on, and her point to me was, well, we need help promoting it, so. You can go to the Illinois, there is a website where you can go and register yourself, and they have a waiver.
Yeah, because it's the entire trail
It's the
on the same
entire
day. It's
trail,
not
right.
just Villa Park.
It's not, yeah, right. We didn't invent this event,
No.
yeah,
Is the Great Western included on
Yes,
Great Western is.
because it's essentially the same authority.
Yep.
Do they have the materials that you need when you show up to volunteer?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Do they have the materials you need when you show up to volunteer, like bags and gloves?
They have in previous years, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
they hand out plastic bags
Mhm.
and plastic water bottles.
Great.
Yeah, pretty ironic.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
guys have a
and
table there, or
gloves.
you just
Yeah,
volunteered?
and gloves and,
Individual.
so I don't know if it's in order to say that we officially want to participate or that we officially want to partner with the Community Focus on Unifying Neighbors Commission.
Are you asking for a motion?
Pardon me?
Are you asking for a motion?
I will entertain a motion then to officially partner with them and participate as a commission in that event.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? Okay.
Should help with publicity.
I'm sorry, say it again?
Should help with some publicity by sponsoring, and maybe some teens need some volunteer hours.
Yeah.
Just saying.
A lot of students always looking.
Yeah.
Yep,
Exactly. Is it about 2 hours in length? 3 hours?
What time
4?
is it usually?
Yes.
Normally stops when it starts raining. Is the honest answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Because
still
you don't
April,
want the
right?
river to rise while you're in the middle of cleaning.
I'll see.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm
I'll
gonna
just
let
bring
Mary
my
know that
inflators,
we
it'll be fine.
officially want to partner with them and that we will have an undisclosed number of commissioners on hand.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 5H. Participation in the Conservation Foundation River Sweep, which is Saturday, April 19th. And
April 19th?
it is April 19th, and another group that I'm a member of, the point was made that it's during for Christians, a very important weekend.
Yes, Easter.
Yeah, very important
How was
weekend for
Italy?
Christians. So, I'm a Christian, but, the other group decided they didn't want to do their river sweep on April 19th because it happened to be during that Easter weekend. So, I put it on the agenda. I participated in the past. There was a period of time where it conflicted with spring sweep, so we couldn't do it, but I'm gonna say,
Not spring sweep, but prairie plat cleanup.
There
No,
was
no.
Stream sweep.
river sweep was in the third week in
Okay.
May, so
Yes.
it conflicted with
Okay.
spring sweep.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Not gonna do the stream sweep ever again. Sorry.
what's that?
Not, I would not want to do this.
No, I tell you, it's kind of, having done it many years, it's not like cleaning the prairie path. It's like you're going up and down riverbanks. You're picking up a lot of junk that's some of it's nasty.
Yeah.
So I thought I would just offer it to the commission. I'm gonna participate. There is a group that meets at Cricket Creek Forest Preserve. We used to go down and clean up around the Odium, and I don't even know what that area looks like now, because it's completely changed.
Was it the Addison Public Works that,
Addison Public Works, yeah.
that did the canoes or the kayaks or whatever?
What's that?
Did they do kayaks in the past?
I've canoed down the creek, yeah. And we work with Ron Remus. I don't know, Vasily, if you know Ron Remus.
No, I don't.
Okay, he's
From
with the
Addison.
Addison Public Works Department.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
And they sent out a pretty big crew. Just to, with trucks, just to help us pick up stuff along the road, so. So if there's not a consensus, then we'll just, okay.
Who runs the river sweep?
The Conservation Foundation does. And what they do is you can become a community liaison, and what they'll do is they'll send you volunteers, and you're kind of responsible for gathering them, giving them a little talk about safety. You typically go to the Conservation Foundation headquarters in Naperville, and they give you grabbers and bags and gloves, and you pass those out at the beginning of the event, and then collect them, and then everything goes back to the Conservation Foundation. And of course, they like photos. So, there's a lot of groups all over the county, because it's not just Salt Creek, it's the DuPage River, it's tributaries, it's, we could even do some detention ponds. I don't know how the Jackson, is there any kind of cleanup required there?
At the Jackson Middle School,
Yeah, the retention area.
the bottom of the detention is native plants, so there's a lot of netting right now. It's
Okay.
called predator barriers, so you can't really go down there. So you
Okay.
could do the slopes, I suppose, but yeah, the bottom would be kind of difficult, and it has 6 inches of water.
Okay. And that kind of flows, there's a bridge there, it goes underneath, and that's all,
So the overflow detention, which is off High Ridge, is designed as dry bottom. So in theory, yes, it could be clean, but I'm pretty sure it's uneven and kind of holds water a little bit, so it's hard.
yeah, I'm kind of wandering far afield here, but what kind of maintenance goes into, I assume you have to keep it clean and keep it free of debris.
Right, so for the naturalized basins, that we have in town, like Terrace Pond, for instance. There is also the naturalized ditches along on Monterey, 600 block. We use V3, and the other one is Twin Lakes. We have several naturalized basins there. We use V3. We budget certain money, and they do burns every couple of years, and they clean up and address all the issues with natives. But for regular detention ponds, we really don't have any program in place.
Okay. Well, I don't see a great, yeah. So I think we're gonna take a pass on this. Okay. All right, I'm gonna move on to item 5I, no mow May. And when Commissioner Moore and I were at the spring sweep meeting, Assistant Village Manager Suzanne McVeigh said, every year we have to indicate that we're going to adopt this no mow May until Mother's Day policy.
We amended the agenda.
And we indicated to her that we thought the consensus of the commission was that we should continue with the no mow May policy, no mow May until Mother's Day policy. I did communicate with Manager Harline, and in an email, he said, well, we'd like you to formally indicate that in a vote. I think they have about 80 signs.
Yeah.
That we could distribute. So we kind of endorsed this policy last year. So it looks like we're gonna have to do this every year. Commissioner Hill.
Unless, there was a little bit of discussion at the village department head meeting in that the village has it on their website, the No Mow Mother's Day. So, I mean, we could it's up to the village to really make sure that they adopt the resolution ordinance, whatever they need to do to bypass the code enforcement. But if we could do something that says it was a consensus of the commission to affirm the No Mow Mother's Day, I think that would be strong enough, as indicated on the village's website. And then I think that would be strong enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just get a little background? It's not on the, this item I is not on the agenda that I just pulled off the website.
No,
And
we amended the agenda to include this.
I know, but it's okay, it's not current on the website right now.
Yeah.
However,
So, on item 3 on amendments to the agenda, that's when we added.
There is a motion to amend the agenda.
Tonight.
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 Oh, tonight.
And that's why I'm saying we could affirm it. I don't think we can really take action on it since it wasn't listed as an item on the agenda 48 hours in advance. So.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
But just, so, a little background, I'm not familiar with the event.
So, just in short, no mow May is a kind of a policy. In our area, it started in Appleton, Wisconsin. It is a effort to encourage or to
You're trying to advocate for pollinators.
pollinators, exactly.
Right,
And-
so if you don't mow your grass, you're gonna increase,
Right.
in theory.
In the early spring, there's not a lot of
Nutrients.
there's not a lot of flowering plants that provide nectar for pollinators, like a variety of bees, etc. And by not mowing, you're providing an opportunity for them to flourish.
Oh, you're referring to lawn mowers, okay.
Yeah, no,
That did not come
it's
through.
not mowing yet, not mowing your May,
That
not
just-
mowing your lawn until May.
I thought it was an acronym for a much longer word.
No.
Okay.
No,
you're
no,
not-
yeah.
Okay.
And it's no mow May in Appleton, Wisconsin, but our climate is different than Wisconsin. So,
Right.
It's normally warmer.
yes, so Mother's Day seemed like a good compromise as far as,
Yeah, so just a little background, I think the first time they did it until,
the whole entire month of May.
and it was.
Excessive.
My lawnmower couldn't handle it.
Yes.
Yes, it was too
Right,
much.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it was hard for the code enforcement to catch up and all of that, so.
Oh, code enforcement?
Yeah, because that's the action the village has to take,
Oh,
to allow the growth to extend over how many inches?
6 inches, I think it is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why we want to cut it off no more Mother's Day, because it can get extremely high. So,
So the village has code that requires grass be shorter than a certain height. And so
yeah,
what
I'm
this,
I'm aware of that, but I didn't, so they are going to adopt a temporary ordinance?
right.
yes,
Yeah,
Or it exists now?
They temporarily waive it every year, I guess is how you would phrase
typically
it.
waive it every year.
Yeah.
Interesting.
To allow for the pollinators to get the early start.
Yeah. And I will just say that I thought that once we had adopted it, that it was, but they need to do it every year.
We can just affirm the
Yeah.
village's plan.
So, yeah, so we don't have to take an official vote, I think we can just say we have a consensus. So, I'm just gonna say, is there a consensus for us to advise the board that that we're endorsing the no mow May until Mother's Day policy?
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day, right,
Yeah, I agree.
okay,
Absolutely.
okay,
There you go.
there we go. Okay, I'm gonna move on to item 6. Public comments on non-agenda items, anyone?
And this is
Nope.
public. We're looking at you.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to.
Okay, let me ask one question. So, do you ever have volunteers that help with, like, I'm assuming if you advise the board to have less trash at events, that will lead to activities that need to happen, correct? And do you have volunteers that do that sort of thing through this committee, or you do the advising and then the village gets the volunteers?
so, I mean, we do work with volunteers, for instance, like during Spring Sweep, we organize volunteers for that. So if you are asking to be included on a volunteer list, we can certainly
I just am not clear how it all works.
Sure.
So you will make some sort of you will advocate to the board, and if you get permission, then it goes back to you?
So it depends on like what we're advocating for. Like if you're speaking again on like
Your events thing.
like yeah, if we want to make Summerfest more
Friendly.
low waste, however you want to call it. If our recommendation does require like personnel to accomplish, it would in that case it would probably be through Public Works. It would be Public Works employees getting paid to do this.
Got it.
I'm sorry, it's
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
I'm sorry, Parks and Rec. Yes. Long day.
Well, I think, I'm sorry if I may, if you want to incorporate recycling, for instance, I think the decision can be made on a staff level,
Yeah.
Greg Gola can make that call, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a lot of extra effort.
No.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, in the preliminary planning for these events, they arrange with LRS for extra waste hauling, and LRS does have the capacity to provide the separate containers for the recycling. So it's a matter of coordination between the staff who is planning the event, because that's all part of the process.
And I'll just jump in here, this is Commissioner Wagner. If you go to the community rec building, we have those nice receptacles there that are, this says waste, and it says recycling. So I trust that they're, since they have them separated, that those recycled materials are getting to LRS somehow.
Wasn't your question about volunteers? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just wondering, I was just
You know what,
curious, how would
I have a
volunteers
list of some names, and I have your name from last time. I don't know if I have your phone number, and I don't have maybe it's on there, but I'm gonna ask you to write it down here.
Okay.
For the minutes. But yes, we do call volunteers.
Are the concerts on Thursday nights, do they have, I've never been to one because of all the traffic, so are those
No,
Okay.
the Thursday night concerts?
Okay,
You don't
any
go
no.
Oh, okay.
Any other public comments? None? Okay, I'm gonna move on to commissioner comments. Commissioner Leishman.
No comments.
Okay, Commissioner Greco.
You mentioned that we signed up for the Rite of Silence,
Yes.
which is the Bicycle Pedestrian Committee. If you, what was the date on that?
It is May 21st, I believe.
Yep.
So if
Yeah.
anybody's interested in joining us, joining them, the Rite of Silence is a group bicycle ride where we do ride as a group in silence to honor people who have died in bicycle-related accidents. And that's April 21st. It's usually about 7
May.
o'clock.
May
May.
21st,
May
yeah, Wednesday,
21st.
May 21st at 7 p.m.
So if it's something you're interested in, just keep it, make a mental note.
Okay. Is that it for you, Commissioner?
Yes.
Greco? Commissioner Smith.
It's Commissioner Smith. So last night I attended the Village of Villa Park
The comprehensive plan. public meeting.
Open house and comprehensive plan event. It was held at the new rec center in the community space. Commissioner Greco also was in attendance, and yeah, it was a good turnout. There wasn't a presentation. It was just open house style, and those who put together the comprehensive plan and members of the community and economic development committee were there, as well as Director Guerrera was in attendance, and the village manager.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was there,
Manager Holland
and some
was
other
there.
people, but it was nice to see what the 20-year vision is for the city and what the near-term goals, so I enjoyed that, especially being on this commission. It kind of helped give me a broader perspective of how what we do can fit into the long-term goals for our village.
Can I add to what she said? And I completely forgot to bring it up. There were a lot of people filling out the comment cards, but there are a couple more weeks of public comments allowed online.
Yes.
So I strongly recommend everybody review it because it is just the draft. So there's still opportunity for public comments.
Great.
And it's comprehensive plan.
Is that it for you, Commissioner Smith?
That's it for me,
Okay,
thank you.
Commissioner Moore.
And I'm just gonna add to what they say, you've got until March 14th. That's the deadline for public comments on the comprehensive plan.
Was there anything shocking or interesting?
I just shed a little bit of a tear where the Mike's Deli is and the Ace Hardware, that shopping center was shaded for a potential development site if the owners are, it's up to the owners if they're willing to sell, because I actually do go there to Mike's
Right.
Deli and to the Ace Hardware, and then was it Cuppies is there?
Cuppies Donuts, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's the vision. Like they feel like there are higher and better
Higher
uses
issues,
for that
yeah.
space. It's not that anything can be forced to happen, but
Yeah.
that's just on the plan.
Yeah, that's just part, nothing
Right.
lasts forever, but for me, it's not like that's desolate. People still very much
Go there.
patronize those businesses, so,
And they're very useful businesses.
Very useful,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So,
and I can walk to them, so.
And that's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
Commissioner Figueroa.
One thing. So I don't know if you guys know, but I serve on Diane Blair Sherlock's Youth Advisory Council
Sure.
as co-chair, and during the first week of April, we are hosting the members who again are just high school students. We are hosting and facilitating a town hall, possibly at Willowbrook High School. It is open particularly to the youth, but the whole public's welcome. So everybody here is welcome, and I want you guys to come. So hopefully you guys can make it. Further details will come. But we will have a section regarding environmental concerns in the community. So you guys would probably be interested in going if you guys have time to. And again, further details will come soon.
And what is it gonna be?
It's gonna be during the first week of April at possibly Willowbrook High School.
Okay, gotcha, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Keep a mental note, guys.
Okay, and is that for you?
Yeah, that is
Okay,
all.
Commissioner Hill.
Nothing, I just caught sight of a premiere, international premiere of a movie that I want to try to keep tracking. It's called How to Poison a Planet.
Wow.
And
I think we're pretty good at that.
it's premiering in I think it's New York. And Mark Ruffalo,
Love him.
yeah, is involved. So I'm going to try to track that film and see about public performance rights and all that and see what we can do. It might be a nice one to view. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Dukonis? Nothing, okay. Okay, I'm gonna move on to chairman's comments. I did pass along to Manager Harline our recommendation to promote Recycle Coach, the app. I downloaded the app and I think it's worthwhile. It's no cost. There was a special Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus presentation for like staff members, and I'm not sure, I passed that along to Manager Harline, I don't know if he attended or not. I want to mention that per the ordinance, the commissions are supposed to elect a chairperson every 2 years. Okay. I took over for Justin Slensky, and I've had 2 terms. And I think that I'm going to, in April, step down as chair. I've had a long involvement with the commission. I'm thinking, prior to me, Justin Slensky, Jess Spivak was before that, Michael Spencer was before that, and I can go way back, but, so, yeah, so I would just ask, we have a very great commission. Anyone here could be chair, probably do a much better job than I do, so, please think about it, yeah. I'm not gonna leave the commission, I'm gonna serve out my term, but yeah, I think it's time for me to step down, so. Commissioner Draconis wanted to talk about purchases, so I did purchase the tote for our tabling events, so there was we've had some events where we had out-of-date material, so I'm pretty much gonna pitch everything that we have, and if there's something you think we should have for a tabling event, go for it. There's a material available from the county and other organizations, so that will be our tote. And I'll hand it over to whoever the next chairperson will be. So, Commissioner Hill mentioned a movie. Their COD is having, and I apologize, I don't have the exact dates, but they're having a film festival. And one of the featured films in their film festival has to do with an Australian film about the crisis of plastic pollution in the oceans. And I don't know exactly when that will be, but I can certainly look it up, or you can look it up. And it's my understanding it's a free, it's like a no-charge event. And that's all I have. Commissioner Moore.
So, two things. Thank you, Commissioner Maury. So, for tabling events, do we identify what we need? Like, for example, I remember thinking we might need a new sign, one of the ones that goes into the ground, or a new tablecloth. Have we identified what we should start thinking about budgeting for, or just purchasing under
Well-
the budget we have?
I mean, yeah, our budget is our budget this year, so whatever we,
Yeah.
whatever we wanna
And then the
spend
second
it
question.
on, pardon me?
Second question was, can we review the process for nominating a new chair and when that would take place?
So it'll take place in April. It'll take place at the April meeting. If you look at if you go to the code, it's spelled out in the code. It says every 2 years, and it coincides with, it goes from, or my term will end in April, and then the new chair will take over in May. But I can send everyone a link to that if you want me to.
But since you became chair, we've got half our members are new, so.
I'm sorry, say it
We've got
again.
a lot of new members since you became chair the last time, so a lot of, it's an unfamiliar process that probably would be best if everyone was on the same
Right.
page.
And I will just mention that some commissions forget about it. I mean, they don't, sometimes they don't follow the code. Sometimes the chair, I'm on a commission, and I ask, when was the last time we elected the chair? And everybody was scratching their head, well, I don't remember, So, yeah, I don't wanna overstay my welcome. So, yeah.
We're very fortunate to be on a commission that has so many passionate members.
Right,
So
you're not leaving, so.
yeah, I completely agree. Everyone on this commission is talented and dedicated, So, yeah.
Okay.
But I'll send, this evening, I'll send a link out. It spells it out. And it's technically, the commission select the chair, and then it's supposed to be approved by the village board. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen, so we're not really following the code the way we should be.
By then, we'll have to approve a new board.
What's that?
We'll have a new board to approve.
You'll have a new board,
Right.
exactly. Okay,
May I make one quick comment since we were talking about movies, on Netflix, Toxic Town is out. It's kind of akin to like Dark Waters, which was a movie about PFAS, except for Toxic Town is set in the UK. But it's about, hazardous waste and how it affected the fertility of women, I think, and their children. So I haven't watched it yet, but it's environmental related.
all right, I'm gonna move on to item 9. Well, we don't have a village board. I'm gonna move on to item 10, village staff comments. Anything you wanna pass along to us?
Just one, I don't know if you heard or not, we lost our electronic recycling vendor.
We lost Kuosakowski.
Yeah, apparently my understanding is they shut down North American operations.
Really?
We're looking for a new one.
You probably
Okay.
won't have one
I just drove
by
by
next
that
month, will
place
you?
yesterday, or Monday. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't
We went to
It was
their,
like they
we went to their
chiseled it.
facility in North Aurora,
Plainfield.
Plainfield.
Drifted.
That's a big operation.
Yeah, I just drove by it Monday, I mean, the sign's still on the building, but they must, I didn't notice the parking lot empty, so they must be planning on shutting down soon.
That's rough.
Well, thank you for letting us know.
Yeah.
When did you learn that?
Today.
Today? Okay, wow.
Yeah,
Now-
Mike Guerra probably knew for a couple of days now because he's scrambling to find somebody.
So do all the other surrounding villages, because it's a state law that they have, that stuff can't be, in the landfill, so who do the other villages go
Because
to?
we temporarily have to send it to landfill, so. No, I don't, I'm kidding.
My electronics are gonna pile up in my basement until I
Yeah,
go.
well, actually, York Township accepts it down at Roosevelt Road.
Yeah,
But
where do
who's
they
their
take it?
vendor? because
Right.
they may stop accepting it too.
Right, the one that's next to the Goodwill on the south side of the
Yeah, I
street
know, I've
there.
used that too, but who's to say that they're not
Yeah.
using the same
But
vendor?
the state's gonna have to step up, because it's their law, they're the ones that say it can't go in the landfill, so you gotta have an alternative.
Is that who
Oh, there's
comes
lots
here,
of things that are
Spring Sweep?
required that the state doesn't make easy.
Well, and I could have spring
Well,
sweep.
thank you for sharing that with
Yeah,
us.
let's talk
Yeah.
to Diane Boyer Sherlock tomorrow. That's a good one for you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Talk to
it's-
Diane, say, where, yeah.
She'll be back tomorrow.
the vendor just announced, give them time to, regroup and
Well, I
come up with a
understand.
plan. I don't think we
No,
need to go
it's
into
not their
anger
plan,
mode.
they're going out of
Oh,
business, they don't have a plan, they're going.
No,
out.
I mean, we don't need to start bugging our representatives, give them a
Well, yeah,
chance.
But
to-
she may not know that they're going out.
Oh, I
I'm
see,
not really
yeah,
sure.
okay.
So they need to start thinking about what's the
What's the
next.
state's response gonna be, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
So I don't know,
Second.
there might be category for that, so.
All's in favor?
I,
Oh, one more comment,
No.
I have the van,
We're
anybody
adjourned.
brought recycling, styrofoam, I'm happy to take their styrofoam or packing peanuts.
I lied.